Alright. Um, this was something that a friend suggested. I'm guessing they wanted to see the process because I did offer to do this work with them. Today we are painting D&D miniatures. This is a huge part in D&D, even if you're not going to use them. They they can always be recycled or reused. Crud. Um, I need to get my primer. Alright, primer found. A quick shake so it actually maintains its color, because I'm pretty sure primer is water based. Drop, drop, drop. The most important thing about painting models is knowing that you're not going to use as much paint as you think you will. Most of the time, these little miniatures don't take all that much. Today we are going to be teaching you the only way I do know how to paint. But it's a really recommended way for beginners. The process, or not process, but this style is called slap jobbing. Slap jobbing. I know. Oh no, I said the J word. Half of my viewers aren't going to watch this video anymore. Yeah, we reached the 2-minute mark. No one's going to watch this anymore. So, functionally, I can say whatever I want. No one actually is going to listen to me. But for the YouTube algorithm, I will not mention anything horrendous. So, like I said, this is a huge part of D&D. If you're scared that the model, you're only going to ever use it once, most likely if you're, well, most likely if you're painting your models, you're a DM or dungeon master, for those who really like getting into role. And you can always control your campaign to, you can always use your campaign to bring these little guys in. You could do random encounters. You can do random encounters like I can't remember what it's like, but basically you'd have an encounter sheet, you'd roll a dice, and while the party's traveling, they run into something. So whether that be a dude on the road, a merchant, or these little guys. So you'll always have a reason to, you can always create a reason to reuse a character. Or if you doubt, if your players didn't enjoy a character and you doubt that they'd like fighting it again, because ultimately, as a DM, you are an entertainer. Your main job is to entertain your players with either funny situations or breathtaking combat, or heck, even serious situations. If your character, if your players do not like the character or the combat or the situation that you gave them, it is kind of your job to make it more entertaining. So if they didn't enjoy the fight with the monster you had specifically because of that monster, or they just didn't enjoy it, you can ultimately sell the models. Because there are more people out there who want models and who want painted models, and while they're not in horribly high demand, they are pretty important for telling the story. I just realized that this is probably the first time anyone's ever heard my voice, rather than the crappy microphone static that they have been hearing. Alright, so you see how you can, like, hardly tell any of the distinct details? It's kind of just black right now. You're gonna use. That's part of the process. Okay, what do I want? Do I want one on a rock like this one? Like, this one's poised to attack? Or a pouncing one? Heck, I had an idea for each of these. So, I'm probably gonna paint all of them and do one of each in my little idea. And for those wondering, no, you do not need to use a small brush to do this. I just usually have more complicated models like this, where that have a lot of overhangs and tight crevices that I need to get the paint into. I thought I was done. I forgot his little underbelly. Oh, keep it in the camera, Michael. $15. Okay. Alright, if you're still here, consider liking and subscribing. I'm probably gonna make a cut. What? Me editing? That's crazy. To when I finish painting, priming the rest of these. Alright, I've finished. The way you would know, oh, that's another important thing. Make sure to re-go over your models after you finished. Especially re-go over them when they're dry. That's when it's the most obvious that you missed a few spots. So this was the first one that I was showing you how I painted. I probably should have just painted this one and painted all the rest of them with a cut. But you'll see that the drying looks like it's no longer shiny. The dry primer is no longer shiny. That's the main way you will know how a primer is completely dry. See with this one? Shiny. And I missed a spot right there. So yeah, I cannot stress this enough. Go over your models when painting. Because I guarantee you, I can guarantee you, you will miss a few things. I know I missed the back of these hands. Yeah. So primer doesn't take that long to dry, so you're gonna just leave them there for 30 minutes. Heck, 30 minutes might be too long. You might just leave them there for 20 or 10. So, I guess I'll hit you with another cut. Transition time. Yay. Alright. When I say this stuff is quick to dry, I mean it. It's been like 10 minutes. Quite literally, I got lunch. I went tinkle. And I'm back. So, pro tip, make sure to always shake up your paint or else it might end up not looking right. So this is, if you haven't noticed, you can't really see any of the real details. You can see the general shape. That's, we're going to bring out all the details with something called dry brushing, where you literally brush with dry paint. This is even, you know what this, because how stiff it is. This dries even faster than the primer. So you take a wee bit of paint. Now I use my hand for this, so I can actually feel when the brush is dry. When I can actually feel that the brush is dry. You don't have to. You can use a board of piece of paper. Really anything that you can paint on to get paint off of the brush, you can use. You can use gloves too. I don't. About that, when you can see that it's like that, that's when you want to start dry brushing. And now if you can't get the entire thing, that's A-OK. Because the dry brushing is basically it gives shading to your creation. I think this one was I think this brush was too wet. I'm sorry. So basically, wherever this brush can't reach, this is why I recommend doing it with a larger brush, is where light can't reach. So don't stress yourself too much if you don't get a piece like this stomach I can barely get. This brush is way too wet, but you see how you can start seeing some detail now that it's lighter. Um, that's what you want. You see it's barely visible on my hand. It might also be that these. And so this process is really quick, really easy. It shouldn't, you shouldn't go over it too much, and you shouldn't try and get it into the crevices. Because once again, this is your shading for your characters. Um, see, now you can see like fur, top fur, bottom fur. You can make out his like little nosh, the creases on his nose. You can make out bumps on his tail. Let's get too little paint for this step. So this is what proper dry brushing should look like. He should, like, you should be able to see the, like, how the fur moves on him. I thought these were flatter, so my robot rat idea won't work. And this process is actually just so slow that I'm not going to cut anything. Now, this process is, although this process is the easiest, it's also, how do I put this? With experience, it's the easiest thing you'll ever do. But when you're newer, you can mess up. So this was when I was like newer. You see how his face has like, oh, let me turn on the light. Didn't turn it back on. See how his face has dark spots and there's like inconsistencies on his skin. That's what when using a paint that I will introduce to you later. Lighter colors have to have proper dry brushing or they will not show up properly. And I had to redo him to be able to get most of it done. So it is the easiest because it is the fastest. It doesn't take much practice, but if you don't do it right, it can ruin the entire thing. I think this one's probably the best one I've done today. Nope, that is way too wet. Let's see. So this process, although it is already dry, you want to like leave it so it can set a little, so it just sticks. I'm probably going to clean this off, clean my brushes, and I will see you after this second cut. Wow, that took 10 minutes. It did not feel like it. Alright, we're back. Clean my hands. It's set. Quite literally, this took like a minute to set. Now, it's time to introduce you to two types of paints you will meet very often while speed painting. Or, not speed painting, while painting your models. There are two types of paints you will meet. There is the acrylics and the speed paints. Speed paints are mostly water-based. You know what acrylics are, they're the basic paints. Speed paints were the paints where I was talking about. If you don't do this properly, well, that's not a good example. If you don't do this properly, it will not show up properly on your model if it's a lighter color. The example that I used was the Peachy Flesh. It didn't show up properly on the model, and that's why he doesn't really have eye sockets. His arm has bits of black in it. That's why that looks weird. But that's mainly with lighter colors, so things like Zealot Yellow, Plaid Bone, Peachy Flesh, I think green as well. Yeah, orc skin. These colors, you usually need you really do need a dry brush correctly, or they will not show up correctly. Lucky for me, I'm using Satchel Brown, which is really good at just showing up no matter how badly you painted. To do that, we're also going to be using Pale Bone. These are what you're going to use first and foremost to get your character, your monster, your model fully colored. Your acrylics are what you're going to use when you want to make the thing pop. So, I don't have any of my good stuff here. I guess, would this work? Probably, yeah. Alright, so this is an alien bug that I painted. To do it, I used, I mixed these two colors, mainly this, to get the skin.
Haley, you need to get some dishes. You need to do the dishes.
Then I used, I can't remember if it was yes, it was the acrylic. Was it the acrylic? No, was it? No, it wasn't. And I used the pale bone for the claws and the teeth. The only thing that I really used acrylic on was the tongue with red, so that you could really see that difference from the that's why it's the thing that make it shows up the most. No, that one's still in progress. That one good enough? No. Once again, I used the brown. This was the very first one I ever painted. I used the brown for the scales and a silver, because there's actually metallic speed paints. A silver for the body armor, while I used red for the eyes because that's what I wanted to show the most. That's what you're going to be using the acrylics for. I had a really good one, but I don't know where it went. The giant Death Knight, and I think one of my cats knocked it over. But yeah. So, once again, alright. Was that shake well enough? Yeah, it was. Do you want something? Okay. So this is going to be the finest part, so you're going to want a very small brush. Dip the thing lightly in so that you don't never mind, dip it in. And remember, everyone, while you don't have to follow this, it makes your life so much easier. Always make sure that the paint that you're using is one of the darker ones you're going to use. While I am going to use black, I'm only going to use it in 3 locations, and it's going to be a quick dot. Oh wait, this is bone color? Yeah, this is bone color. So I'm going to use this instead of the pale bone. Because I already slightly messed up. You see, like right here, the spike's covered in brown. And so the pale bone wouldn't have shown up. And I don't want to have to repaint over that. So alright. Sorry, but something came up. I thought I needed to check in. So and I know I'm making every artist cry by like not cleaning my stuff, but I severely just don't care right now. Me doing what? Where's the brown? Where did I put it? I put the brown right there. And I'm sorry if I'm boring y'all with the process of me painting, but I want to at least show me painting one of them before I cut to the end thing. Oh, he got a little bit, but he got bent off his ear off. That's sad. Now this is the part where you can't miss anything. That's why I recommend having a light source. While doing this, it doesn't have to be like a professional light ring thingy with that I currently have, but it would it's better if you have a light source. You see how you can like get that natural shading just by doing the dry brushing? Oh. Oh, that's the back of his ear. Suck at that, apparently. Now, this side. Now, if you're scared that you're gonna mess something up with these smaller pieces, there are always bigger pieces. They do cost more, but they look cool and are much bigger in comparison. The fingers, like every detail times 10. So if you're legitimately scared that you might mess it up, remember, there are other options, there are bigger options, and it's paint. It can be removed.
My sister, you know what would be helpful? Is if you learned the I know, I'm saying when you're done.
Alright, brown's done. So, you wash off the paint. Put it back because you do want to have your space as clean as possible while doing this. Still got stuff in it. Bone white. So, this is the first time I've ever opened this one. So I'm excited to see how it comes out. Speed paint. It dries quickly. See? Everything on this character is dried already. Not gonna lie, I kinda like this bone white acrylic more than the speed paint color. Aw, that sucks. can. Now these acrylics, they do not dry as quickly, so you usually want to move on to a different area after using an acrylic. Oh, there's still paint on that. Where should I use the tail for the tail? We're mixing. The only reason why I'm using acrylics for this is because I do not have a white speed paint. I don't even think white speed paint exists. So that's one part red, one part white. Mix. If you don't like the color, add more. In this case, I want it to be a wee bit lighter. So I'm going to add another one. Don't use chrome. Okay, don't use the evil chrome. Rust isn't shiny. I'm telling you, rust isn't shiny, Kaylee.
I need a lighter brown. It can't be paint.
Try and help someone, they don't listen to you. I know it's cartoony to be this pink, but I don't really care. Oops. Company is here. Oh no, I gotta finish this quick.
Michael, they're here. Pause it.
Alright. Let me finish the mouth. got company. Alright, guys. Sorry. For you, it's been like 2 seconds. For me, it's been hours. We had company over. I had to entertain the guests. So, I'll finish this guy up. For those special people who, stayed till the very end, you get the honor of deciding what I should do with these wonderful ones. So yeah, give me give ideas. Doesn't matter how crazy it is. If it's crazy, it's just fun. Um, so, dear viewer, if you made it this far, comment what you want me to do with these ones. And I'll do it. And when I officially get 5 different people to comment what they want, for me to do with these bad boys, I will make a video. So look forward to more model painting content. If you enjoy it, consider dropping a like, subscribing. It's great for the algorithm. Helps my small channel grow. But in the end, I can't force you to do anything, just like how I can't force you to use my painting technique. Alright. This isn't my best job. Oh wait, I need to add a bit of black for a bit more detail. Sorry everyone. It's not the end of the video. You still, there's more of me. Oh no. Honestly, I wouldn't know what to do if there were more of me. We got, actually no. We're gonna use the Grim Black from the Speed Paint. Shake. Give him some beady black eye. A little nose. I think I'm gonna use this. I think I'm just gonna make it distinct. Like I said, use this when you want something to pop and it's not doing its job. Black would have just showed up again because of how dark his fur is. Yabba dabba doo. Look at him. Look at this cutie badootie. So yeah, if you made it all this way, you are the only one that knows the secret. Comment what you want the next ones to be. I will make a video once I get 5 whole comments. That will be a new record. 2 would be a new record. But yeah, once again, everyone, I'm not the best at this, so take my advice with a grain of salt. Go and like see someone who actually does this for like professionally. The person I know and learned from was well, he's not a streamer, but he streams. His name's Big Bad Nerd Dad. He's the one who I learned from him by watching his streams. But go check him out if you got the time. Enjoy life.